Hi, this is Carl with Full Sail. I'm a digital cinematography major at Full Sail University. And on the line I have Kelvin Thomas, who's the Director of Video Services at Winthrop University. How you doing today, Kelvin?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I want to thank you first for giving me this chance to interview you. I know you're very busy, as a matter of fact, on your way to a shoot, correct?
I am on my way to a shoot this morning.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and jump right in and get to it. First thing I want to ask you is what got you started in video services?
Video services. Well, it started when I was a student at the University of Mississippi. I was a freshman, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to major in. I was a second semester freshman, and I had a little bit of family background in entertainment. And so I thought, well, maybe I could major in something that has to do with that. And they had a broadcast journalism major, so I looked through the catalog, and the first class that I saw was a videography class. And so I took that class, and the professor at the time told me that he thought that I was really good and that I had a lot of potential. And so I said, I think I'll just stick with it. And so I took the class and really enjoyed it. And so I went over to the public relations office, and I met with the public relations director, and I asked him if he needed any help. And he actually needed a student worker to help him shoot news stories. And that's how I got started.
Okay, wow. So what has been one of the most memorable shoots that you've done?
Most memorable shoots. Well, one of the most memorable shoots was when I had my internship. My journalism professor, he nominated me for a internship in Washington, D.C. It was a 3-month paid internship, shooting news stories, and I shot at the White House.
All right. Shot at the White House.
Shot at the White House.
Okay.
That was a memorable shoot. And then another one that comes to mind is when I was at the University of Mississippi, I was shooting sports, and one of the football players was paralyzed on the field, and it became not only a national story, but it was an international story. And so the story that I shot on him, it was on ESPN. It was on ESPN all day, and but in other news outlets all across the world picked it up. And so I would be sitting at home, and I would see my footage on CNN or on ABC. So also exciting.
I bet it was. Okay, I'm going to get to the main questions that I want to ask you about as well. All right, what do you see as the role of the visual arts in society today, particularly in your profession?
Well, whether we like it or not, I think that people are reading less. And so since people are actually reading less, people are being visually stimulated. I think that that's probably the main reason why uh, YouTube, I believe it's either the number one website in the world, or it's in the top three, and that's because people like to watch videos, and so that's where everything is headed, and it doesn't matter what industry it is, in sports, whether it's entertainment, whether it's news, like visual art is probably the best way to get your message across.
Yes, I agree. I agree totally. Now, with new communications and media technologies making imagery almost instantly available, do you believe that this is having a positive or negative influence on the industry?
I think it's positive, and it certainly has been positive for me because I just have access to things that 10, 15 years ago I didn't have access to, and if I did, I would have to pay. Either I would have to buy it, or if you would actually have to hire someone whose specialty was that, or someone who could find that for you. And today, you don't have to do that, and I think that's one of the reasons why you also have so many one man or smaller video production companies or businesses, is because you can actually do a lot of things yourself.
I agree. I agree. So, with your industry, what are the popular images that you see frequently that's being repeated?
Well, in the sports industry, just a lot of times we use a lot of clip art. We use we use a lot of graphics. They kind of make videos really, really, really interesting. Sports is really exciting, but it also can be repetitive. If a football game's going on, it's football. So a lot of times we will use all sorts of graphics and clip art just to kind of break up the monotony, or to make it really interesting. And so, in the case of say a football game, you would just use some sort of visual art just related to football.
Got you. All right. So, what would be one of your favorite visual artists and what's your favorite style of visual art?
I don't really have one. It just, most of the time, it's just going to depend on what the project is or what the client wants. I really try to not have tunnel vision, to not to always be open-minded with that. So I will usually just go with whatever I think looks good as it relates to the project that I'm working on.
Great. All right. So, how has your knowledge of famous artworks influenced your creative process?
Not as much as I wish it did. It probably would have helped me early on if maybe I'd taken an art history class. And as a matter of fact, now that I'm talking about it, I just might do that. projects look better, I am certainly open to that.
Right, and ironically, and like you said, it is big toward opening your eyes to different ideas and different ways of expressing yourself. And I have one more question for you, Kelvin. And thank you for your time. What advice would you give anyone who's trying to get started in the field of digital videography or cinematography?
Well, the first thing is to look and to always be aware of what other people are doing in the industry. When I first got started, when I took that videography class, at the point that I became interested in it, I watched TV and television news because it was a news videography class. I watched it all the time, and I watched, you know what shots those guys were getting. I listened to the audio. I just studied it. So that is the first thing. The second thing is the internship. Obviously, like that probably was the turning point for me, because it was real life experience. So, internships are certainly huge. And then the last thing I would say is, you kind of have to be patient a lot of times, because even though this is an industry that is growing, just like other jobs right now, they're not always that easy to find. And being an independent videographer or freelancer is, it's not as easy as it sounds. So sometimes you just have to be patient, in this industry, and you also have to be willing to start small. I've done really, really small projects for very little money starting off. So, but every project is a learning experience. And I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, at least 20 years, and I still learn from videos and video projects and shoots that I do.
Right, like you said, it's a ever ending learning process. You no matter how long you're in this business. One of my instructors for television producer, he was shooting with NBC back in the 80s, and he said he's still learning, especially with the new technology as it evolves and advances. And that's one of the great things about it, man. I think the thing that got me interested in it was, like you said, watching the football games and watching the graphics that came up, and saw the creativeness of it. And speaking of creativeness, would you say that it takes a little bit more technology knowledge or creativeness in doing what you do, or would you say it's about even?
Well, I think that it depends on individual, because I've learned that the old, I am an old school journalist, video production, and so when I started off in the business, and my first 10 years, there were a lot So the focus was on storytelling. The focus was always on getting good shots. Today, I think people get caught up in having so much access to, bells and whistles, software like After Effects.
Right.
And you can do some great things. However, sometimes people use that because the actual video itself might not be all that great. And so, which I'm not planning that. But I am just one that I don't ever think that there's a substitute for a good, solid story and great audio and good pictures. People still like that too.
Right. I got you. Well, I thank you very much, Kelvin, for your time. Once again, it's been Kelvin Thomas. He's the Director of Video Services at Winthrop University. And I'm Carl Thomas, digital cinematography student at Full Sail. We thank you for watching.